Well, we've shown what Eve's Most Dangerous can do, but it's been my thoughts, my theories, and that's just an Eve theory, those that know. But today, yes, today, we've got someone that we've featured for Eve's Most Dangerous in the past has agreed to do a PvP interview. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to introduce Val Auroris. See, when there's two of me, the universe almost breaks. We just avoided absolute multiversal catastrophe there for just a moment. Very scary. Hey, editor, keep that in. We almost had a bad thing here. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome Val Auroris. Am I saying that correct?
Yes, that's right.
Perfect.
Hi, guys.
Thanks for taking the time, Val. Welcome to the stream and to the video. I would love to get the easy part is to start with, like, how'd you get started in Eve before we get to the real nitty gritty of how you just have been slaying all these things all the time? How'd you get started in Eve?
Well, I started around 2005, actually, on another character. And I was trying to find a game to play with my girlfriend, now wife, by the way, and she's richer than me in game. That's the funny thing.
Goals.
So we started playing. We want to find a sci-fi game, and it was low APM. The ships were beautiful, the universe was beautiful. So we fell in love, and we started playing. Yeah,
that's incredible. What does she fly, out of like curiosity? Is she your scout and you're the killer? Is that what's happening?
Jump freighters.
Oh, that's sick. No wonder she's more rich than you, dude. She's indie.
She's much more rich than I.
Sick. Awesome. So you keep safe space for her to do her jump hauling. Understood. Okay.
Yes, exactly.
That's really sick. I love that. Okay. Well, you have been one of the people we featured in our Eve's Most Dangerous videos. That's how I saw you first. And you were featured because you got some of the most kills possible in a 90-day period. And you were featured, I think, twice. It might have been once. It definitely was once. At least once, and maybe even twice. So something I'd love for the people to hear is like, how do you, we're going to start with, I have some bullets from Val that he wanted to talk about. And I love this chat because normally I like just go off the cuff, but I got to tell you, Val prepped for this. He like brought notes, did some stuff. This is really awesome. I appreciate the respect he has for you, the viewer, to be able to give you all the good value. So how do you prep for PvP? What do you do to like pay for ships? What's your PvP prep, Val?
Oh my, okay. Well, having ISK helps a lot. So that's why my whole Corp, we love the videos that you make that teach new pros how to make ISK because it's so important, right? One of the key things about PvP in this game is that it's a little bit pay to win. The percentages matter a lot. 5% more damage, 10% more damage,
for sure.
10% more speed. Big deal about it. So yeah, I mean, getting the ISK is the first part, and then making sure you fit for the right situations, and tons of other things. But yeah, that's a good start. Sure.
So how do you make the bulk of your ISK? Is it just from looting dead Cronoses and Ickies? Is that what I'm seeing?
Yeah, the fun thing about this game is there's so many things you can do to make ISK, especially if you join like some of the larger groups. You have more space. There's more unique areas to make ISK. I make mine from. I used to do 10 out of 10s, DEDs.
Nice.
And then after that, I did drugs. Drug production, which is actually quite lucrative. I mean, it's quite interesting. It's quite lucrative. And then, as we loot from the dead bodies of our enemies as well.
Right.
But yeah, it's a mixture. Whatever we feel like, or whatever I feel like, I just log on and then I just do it. Yeah.
I love that. Do you do any like industry or PI, or is that solely like the wife's job? She's big into that, is what it sounds like.
Yes, that's right. It's solely it's at this stage. For me at least, I rarely PvE that much anymore. Just because preparing for PvP and finding the content and finding the fights takes so much time, right? The fight could last 1 minute or less usually, but it could take 40 minutes to hunt a target if you're solo in hostile space, for example.
Totally. And that's what attracted us to your Killboard initially, I think, was the fact that you had some really solid kills. I'm pulling up some while we talk. You got a real good Vedmak kill with the Vagabond. I would not expect a Vagabond to kill a Vedmak like that, but hey, I mean, maybe it can because you can just out-track it. Tell me, yes.
Yes, that's right. Actually, a Vagabond is a very good. A Vagabond is a bad matchup for a Vetmac in general. I think if you look on Zkill, I have the most solo Vetmac kills in the whole game.
Let's see.
Mainly using a Vagabond.
That's crazy.
So, it's quite. It's just not a good matchup.
That makes, and now once I said it, I was like, man, it doesn't really make sense. But as I said it, I was like, wait, no, Vagabonds speed tank and go real fast. So I bet you that they can just ignore all of the trig spooling. And they barely touch it. That's freaking sick. Go ahead.
Yeah, highest DPS is hail. You know, load hail, never fail, right?
That's right.
And weakest resist on a Vetmac is explosive. Usually, typically. So yeah. It's not a great matchup. And the Vetmac needs to kite around. The Vetmac doesn't want to get hit. If you're flying a Vetmac, you shouldn't be getting hit unless you are, double armor reps and you're just, a tank monster. But yeah, don't get hit. Once you start getting hit, something is wrong already.
Totally. Yeah, as of this video, as of this interview, I just opened up the the Vagabond on Zkill. You're the number 3 guy in all of the game flying a...
Oh, number 1 all time.
You're number 1 all time, though. Oh snap! Let me see. All time for Vedmax, though, right? I'm looking at the Vagabond thing. Tell me.
Yeah, for Vagabonds, all-time kills, I'm number 1. But I've also soloed the most number of Vedmax in the game. So
sick.
Yeah,
Sheesh.
A little bit nerdy.
This is the guy, chat.
It's just
the guy who
understands. So popular.
Oh yes, and especially now, no one's flying the Icky anymore. At least not as much because the price quadrupled. Now we get way more Vedmax coming in. So
yes, so expensive.
So one of the notes you sent me that I really like that I think people would really benefit from is, what did you mean by if you're lazy, you're dead? What does that mean?
Oh, that's a very good one. And this one, in our Corp, we kind of remind each other all the time, don't be a lazy ass. Because before we engage a target, especially a competent target, say we're fighting Tuskers or we're fighting Clade, for example, we would definitely check the killboards to see what's their latest fits. Because every ship in EVE is modular, right? The way that they fit their ships is really, there are weaknesses that we can exploit, And looking at the killboards, if there's a group of 4 people, we also know who's the weakest that we can if they're weak and they're flying Logi, we're going for them first. So
how do you know if someone's weak?
Like that.
It's a real cool insight.
Oh, ZQ points.
Oh, right.
So basically, yes. If they blob a lot, then maybe they're not weak, but they're not the best. And,
so interesting. Val would unironically look at my killboard and say, "Oh, go for him first," and he wouldn't be wrong, by the way, because I don't do a ton of solo PvP. So, all right, I'm trying to over-explain for the newer bros. So, and this is really, really good note. So he opens up Zkill, not just to see fits, and you can see we just lost that big Cayman. That was a lot of fun. But he also sees hey, this Loru guy is 48% dangerous. He typically blobs. Man, go for him first because we're gonna take him out easier. Is that fair?
Yeah, something like that. But most of the time, it's mostly fits. So we look at the fits, we look at the comps, and then we see what we need.
Gotcha. So you've scouted an area space. You found the people in it. You found their fits. You then go back and try to counter the fits with something. Is that correct, or do you just hey?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You
Having
always
the right fit is sometimes the fight is really short. Sometimes it's not about the fight. Once they engage, they're dead already.
Right.
Like for example, if a typical Vetmac engages my typical Vagabond, once he engages within a 20-kilometer range, he's dead. So it's not much you could do at this point. It's really about making the right choice of where to be, making the right target selection, making sure that you know what your engagement profile is. Like how wide is it or how narrow it is, and then going from there.
That's really awesome. I love what you just said, and a lot of EVE veterans understand this, but a lot of EVE newbies maybe don't get this, that the way you win a fight is not by throwing your ship against a wall and seeing if it sticks. It's by understanding, hey, this ship does this, I should take that. So how would you recommend people start learning that? Because this is muscle memory too at this point, I just saw, I'm proud of myself, and I was like, oh, actually, the Vagabond would be a good match for the Vedmac after I, said the wrong thing. I'm proud that I corrected myself, but that's because I've been doing this for years. How do you recommend newer players get into that mindset and like start not memorizing, but being instinctive with how to fly, what to fly?
Oh, that's a good question. All right. So the first thing is doing it alone is very lonely, right? So having a group of people, like I'm together with my Corp Aurora, we theory craft about fits all the time. You know, we skirmish, we test out different things, and having that environment, that group of people with you really helps. So that's the first thing. So try to find your tribe, your PvP tribe in a way, your community. Right. The second thing we usually tell new bros is, you're absolutely right. We never, back when I was in Brave, or even in Init, we never tell new bros to fly tackle frigates, because they just die in 10 seconds and they don't learn anything, right?
Right.
Or purchase 20 Kestrels and go into faction warfare. You just die to everybody.
Totally.
And you don't learn much. So we tell people, okay, if you want to do frigates at the beginning, try E-War frigates first as part of the group. Right? Obviously not solo, but try E-War frigates first with another person or 3 people, you know. But the one that I like the most is, I usually tell people, please start with cruisers, because cruisers give you more time to sort of you have more EHP, so you don't die in 10 seconds, right? There are things you can do. You can switch drones, you can try to move, get out of your situation, you know, you're not locked in. Well, if you fit it correctly, you're not locked in. And yeah, so don't fly tackle frigates at the beginning unless you really love it. E-War frigates are good, E-War cruisers are good. Cruisers that stay at range are also amazing. So one of the things, sorry, just to expand,
Please.
one of the things when you PvP, right, there are different weapon systems, and learning how to transmatch and learning about trans and application. So the most important thing about PvP is actually application in this game. So learning how to transmatch is very important. Learning how to dodge is very important. Like, you know, not get hit in the first place is very important. So flying gunships is actually good. I usually recommend new players, or they want to get better at PvP. They fly like Omen Navy issues to start, you know, gun cruisers to start, because you will know when you are missing and you will know when you're not missing. But if you fire missiles, you know, you're just firing missiles. You're just firing missiles, right? Yeah.
Those are really good tips. Y'all, this is like very valuable information. I understand this stuff now, but when I was just starting, nobody told me this. This is why we're here. Thank you so much for talking, Val. This is really awesome. We got the best of the best talking to us right now. Really sick. And you mentioned weapon systems, application, and speed. It's actually on some of my notes here. So it's funny you say start with E-War. I joined a nullsec corp way back in the day when I was just new. I don't even remember what their names were. It was literally a decade ago. And they told me, hey, start with a Kieran, get in a Kieran, get super far out, and we just want you to like tag something, because if you think about it, chat, if I'm new, the damage I do in a Vagabond is much less than someone like Val if I'm new, because even if I could fly a Vagabond, my skills aren't there. But a Warp Disruptor, if I Warp Disrupt him, they're Warp Disrupted. Like it's yes or no, it's binary. They are locked, they are not, versus Val doing 10,000 and me doing like 8,000 DPS. That matters in a fight. So I think that's a really good idea for newer players to get into E-War, electronic attack frigates, and indeed, you saying get into cruisers, I think was a big deal, because a lot of people think big ship must be in big ship, must have battleship. You know, like no. You want to be in cruisers. You want to be in something that lets you be modular. Cruisers have a decent enough skill cap that you can fly them well enough without needing to do like millions and millions of skill points, but they don't die immediately like frigates do. That's a really good point.
That's the key thing. Yeah. Die immediately. Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. Especially PvP. Sheesh. So you were talking about also, you sent me some stuff on, it's a really great decision making and target priority. And it's right, and exactly. And it's kind of similar way of thinking. How do you just instinctively know what to do? Is that more like you've played the game enough? Have you died a bunch and now you know, oh, that one should be prio? Or is it really all just in the scouting, in the pre-show show? Tell me about it.
Well, there's the experience plays a big part of it. theory crafting a lot in Pyfa. So a lot of our, like for example, I'm in a PvP Corp, and a lot of our time is spent in Pyfa. Everybody's time is spent in Pyfa, right? So when we're spinning ships and stations, we're actually fitting up ships in Pyfa and simulating them against each other. So we get an idea. Okay, if I fly this ship, how many ships of this in small gang? How many ships of this do we need to take this standard fit down? Right. So yeah, we actually it's experience as well. Some mechanics, and this is a very interesting part about EVE PvP. I can tell you, Minotaur cruisers are terrible with cap. So if for example you're flying a Vetmag with triple newts, you see a Loki near you. By right, you should ram the Loki and heat your 3 newts. But stuff like this, you don't really you only know when you fly the ship. That's why we always encourage people to try to fly more ships and more fits, because after one outing, one fight or 2 fight, you're gonna get a rough idea of, okay, what is the weakness, what is the strength. If I'm flying a curse, I need to keep a little bit further away. Why? Because I will get creamed. They will target me first. So the target priority is really take out the most dangerous thing that you can quickly. So we're talking about small gang.
Right.
You take out the most dangerous thing that you can quickly. If it takes you too long, then obviously that guy is not a good choice.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's a really good point for coming in from chat as well. In Pyfa, yes, you can simulate, hey, how does this fit do against that fit?
Yes.
A ton of you your eyes just got big, because in game we have the fitting tool, right? It's just, I'm in my little pod here. I'm not going to erase the stuff on the screen. If I hit a, I don't know, here's the old Dominic's Navy I had. Here's the stats. But in Pyfa, which is a third-party tool, we're going to have a guide on that at some point, chat. You can literally say, how does that fit do against that fit? Because if you think about it, that's what actually matters. Because if I fit a Dominic's for shield versus armor, that completely changes what my enemy is dealing with. If you have someone with newts, someone with smart bot, whatever, this is really interesting. And man, I like that a lot. So some of you just had your eyes open. We'll have a guide on Pyfa at some point, because it's kind of deep. It's more than kind of deep, but hey, it's definitely approachable for
for sure.
Go ahead. Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh no, just saying, yeah, Pyfa is great. Definitely, if you're new, if you love fitting your ship, EVE is so fun. There's so many ways to fit your ship, right? Every ship is modular, and some of the funniest kills have been from ships which are, whether I died or we killed somebody, has been when our fits are totally unexpected. So yeah, play around with Pyfa is fun.
Off meta, that's one of my favorite things. So you wouldn't know this about me, Val, because we just started talking. I played Yu-Gi-Oh! Semi-professionally, the card game, and I would go to tournaments. I never did it amazing. One of my favorite things to do was the off-meta deck. It required an understanding, right, of the meta, and then I'd make something that would counter the top 3 decks. So I wouldn't be able to afford necessarily the top 3 because it was thousands of dollars for the best cards. But I would go after, what beats those? Because if I can beat those, I win. And that's kind of what you're talking about here, where hey, if everybody from that corp is using this kind of scorpion, we're going to go over here and do something that counters that kind of scorpion. And we see this, chat. You would know this because I don't stream a lot of the Ponchfin ops that my corp does, but the Ponchfin triangle is ever changing. And all of a sudden we saw a crap ton of scorpions earlier this year, and now we're all countering that. Well, guess what's happening now? People are countering the counter to the scorpions. It's just an ever-changing, ever-breathing meta. It's one of the main reasons I love EVE.
Yeah, and
totally right.
With the new meta changes coming up, it's even going to shake things up even more. I heard they're going to increase the speed for armor ships. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Come on. My Proteus can move now. What the heck?
Yeah.
I don't need to overprop.
Yeah, you love Proteuses as well, right?
I love them. They're one of my favorite ships. I think it might be my favorite ship. I've been flying a lot of Abyss the past couple months. So I've been loving the Hawk and the Worm and those kind of ships. But whenever I go back to the Proteus, you're it just feels like this is where I belong. It's one of my favorites. So you made a really good point about positioning. How do you get good positioning against opponents? Because you've talked about, you research them on Zkill, you get their fits, you're in Pyfa, you've done that research, but now we're getting in the game. How do you get the best positions around them? Do you have someone bookmarking? How is that going on?
So when we talk about positioning, it's sort of during a fight, for example, right? There's two major portions. The first portion is you need to know where you're going to be you need to know where you're going to, let's say you're flying a blaster Proteus, for example.
Right.
You need to know where you're going to do the most damage to that guy. Right? And then you also need to know where do you need to be to do the most damage but take the least damage in return.
Okay.
In a way, right?
Yeah.
So, for example, if I was in a Vetmac and I was fighting your blaster Brudix, blaster Proteus, right? Yeah. And you had Scram Web and I had Scram Web. I know I need to, the max that I should be spooling occult on you because typically you'll be tanky, right?
Yes.
And as long as I Scram Web you and I keep out of void range, I force you to switch ammo to what do you call it? No, yeah. That's right. That switching of ammo will kill you because 8 seconds, 7 seconds to switch over, right? And you're switching to something that does a little bit under half of the DPS. While I'm spooling my highest DPS ammo on you, I'm holding, we both Scram Web each other, but I'm holding just outside of void range, for example.
Right.
So stuff like that, I need to know where you do less damage to me at every point, and I need to know where I do damage to you at every point. So that's the first section of positioning. Right. The second section of positioning, usually we're talking about in small gang. So typically, in fleets, Logi should be behind the meat shield in a way, right? Logi should stay safe, right? Recon should stay safe. E-War should stay safe, right? And your tackle should screen. So, you have these roles that you sort of understand your positioning, and the whole team, the whole gang knows, okay, if there is a ramjag, and ramjags are very scary. If a ramjag is coming at another angle, they will shift to reposition. So you sort of have an idea of to keep the Logi behind, to keep the recons behind, to keep the tackle in front. So yeah, two things: positioning for yourself and positioning for your ship type versus whatever you're fighting, and position as a gang. These two.
I love that. Yeah, so we're now entering into the in-game theory of how fights work and how, so you've done all the research, but while that is where the main fight is, how you've rock, paper, scissors them correctly, you still have to fly the rock correctly into the scissors to get the win. Because if you have a rock and you fly poorly, it's still paper, right?
That's right. And it is, I don't know, for the new pros who are watching, right? Small gang is really fun. I don't know what, I have a whole corp of people that they just live and breathe small gang. It's really fun. And when you get the fights, the rush in this game is amazing.
It is.
There's nothing like it, So yeah, find a group, give it a try, and yeah.
It's some of my favorites. Some of my best memories have been small gang PvP in EVE. The large fights are epic, and we just got done with our Cayman Yeet. That was a lot of fun. But the small gang stuff, there's just something about it. When it feels more visceral, you feel more, you feel like your pulse is more on the button because you're the one clicking instead of you being one of 60. You're like one of 2, one of 3. So for sure love that. So yeah, knowing your weapon stats, understanding what the optimals are, understanding what that means, what the numbers means, that's probably, I've told this to people before, that is one of the biggest transitions from new player of EVE to established player of EVE, or when you can look at a number and understand what it means. So if someone says optimal range, something, I know that means, okay, I'm fighting this Vedmak using the example earlier. I have to be within my void ammo optimal to be able to do stuff. I'm going to keep him at range, so I lower the transversal. I look at that number and I know instinctively the 7 things that means. New players would not, so that's where you have to go get out and practice and see what's up. And then of course, positioning based on what the role of your ship is. So, here's a fun one. What is your recommended keybind setup? What do you do keybinds for, PvP? Overheating?
Oh my God.
Are you like me? Do you hate the clickers? People out here with their mouses clicking modules. I'm an MMO player, dude. I'm a WoW player. I gotta click Alt Q through T, baby. I am bound up. So what are your keybinds like?
Okay, sorry. So I'm going to expand on this part as well. So we always, I personally, I always tell new players or players coming into PvP, please play with 2 hands. try not to click with, I mean, don't play in one hand. You have two hands. God gave you two hands, right?
Yes.
So typically you should, if you want a manual pilot, you have to fly with your mouse. And you need to see what the hell is going on, and you need to target things which are coming off angle and this and that. So you need to keep your mouse hand free, right? Your left hand should be the one, I mean, sometimes you will click certain modules. Yes, they are important because sometimes the keybinds don't register. I don't know, because of how Eve, what do you call it? The timing works.
Yeah.
The ticks work. So sometimes you have to click important models, yes. But typically it is very good practice. Like, start today, start playing with two hands today. Fly with your right hand, or if you're right-handed, and then make sure you keybind with your left hand, because that saves you so much time. And it's painful today. The first time I learned to do it, I died like for 2 weeks. Yes, it's painful today. But a week later or 2 weeks later, you will have this skill where you're playing a piano, your chords are on one hand and something else on the other hand. So yeah, it's good to start early, and always keybinds, very important. Play with two hands. Yes.
It's very important. And y'all, if you're hearing this, something I keep thinking about is you can practice this kind of stuff in the Abyss in a non-PvP environment.
Yes, that's right.
The Abyss is going to force you to do this anyway. It's really going to push you. And so we like to make guides about how to do Abyss safely, but you can take a worm into T2s. You might die, but you at least figure out how to fly it better, because it's possible to do a T2 with worms. You are better in a T1 because there's less death rooms, but it really is going to force you, that kind of stuff. Maybe you're scared of doing PvP. My goal of this video is to help make the barrier of entry to PvP smaller. And again, Val, this video is like life-changing amounts of information for newer players. People are going to hear this and they're going to be like, you have to watch this. They're going to share this with literally all of their buddies. This is awesome. So yeah, I do the same, by the way, chat. What he's saying is not just him saying that. I use my mouse in my right hand and I'm manually piloting. I'm clicking stuff. And I use my left hand to lock stuff. Like, we talk a lot about keybinds, like what is it? Press and holding shift and right clicking a target unlocks it. Press and holding shift and left clicking something locks it. This kind of stuff, those split second decisions can make you a better PvPer, but he's right. It really feels like when I started playing, I was doing mythic raiding in World of Warcraft back in the day, and when I learned my rotation, I was rusty at it. I was really like, what do I do with the adrenaline rush? Exactly, did Blackheart. And then after a couple deaths, you start going, okay, your muscle memory starts hitting. So even if it's harder to do the right hand fly, left hand use your keys, you will get there. I promise you. One of the best ways to do it in a non-PvP environment is the Abyss. It's really good for you to start doing that stuff. So, we've talked a lot about like tips, boots on the ground stuff. I'd love for you to talk about anything that's like on your mind right now with ePvP. Like, I'm just going to ask a couple questions and pick something that sticks. You've been so gracious with this information so far. What ship do you think new bros should fly? What's your favorite ship to fly? What do you think is one of the best ships people could fly? Not the first, but like the best. Pick a question and go, man. You're fountain of information.
All right.
Do it. Yeah.
All right. I like cruisers because I'm partial to cruisers. So I would always tell a new player to, if they're, let's say they just joined a Corp, they're new to PvP or new to small gang, I would say go with the Navy variants of the cruisers. So we're talking about Osprey Navy issues, we're talking about Omen Navy issues, Vexor Navy issues, and what's the fourth one?
Fleet issues. Yeah.
Side fleet issues, right? So these are typically, they're not expensive, right? Their performance is close to their T2 variants, and they're usually faster, so they're usually more speedy.
Thank you.
And you can actually get a lot out of it. It doesn't cost an arm and a leg, because I know PvP is expensive. So there's a side thing. A good way is, if you're doing solo, no choice, you're gonna lose ships. Like, look at how many ships I've lost.
Oh yeah.
Right. But if you're new into small game, find a group, because when you find a group, you lose less ships. When you lose less ships, it actually makes fighting more sustainable. Like, you don't have to worry about ISK every day, because you're with a group and you can learn and you're having fun. So try to find a group. I think that's very important. But yeah, in terms of ships, the Navy cruisers are pretty good. The E-War frigates are actually very fun to fly. Right, sorry, not Kyrins. The carriers, for example, is quite
big.
fun. The carriers is fun with the dams. You one carries can lock down a marauder. One
Right.
carries can make a marauder not do, not kill your team. A sentinel as well with the tracking disruptors will make a Chronos cry even.
And it has. Ask me how I know. It's great.
Yeah. So.
So
these
good.
are the E-War frigates are amazing. They're very strong in the right situation. And it feels very satisfying when you're locking something down and you're helping out your team. Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. If you're new, some of the best ships you can fly, the Hyena, these are the electronic attack ships. So the newer players use Tech 2 ships, electronic attack ships. But even if you're not Omega, if you're just an Alpha, there are still T1 variants. Now they're much weaker. Let's not mince words. They're much weaker, but you can still fly a Vigil. Still, it's the hull of a Vigil is 500,000 ISK. It's very cheap to get into, and like, oh, I don't know what to do. The hull of an Inquisitor, if you want to heal up your buddies, is same 500,000 ISK. There's a lot of these T1 frigates don't, and based on what Val is saying, check out the T1 cruisers as well, because an Arbitrator is only 15 million ISK, and that's decent DPS with drones and weapon disruption.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah.
It has a bonus to tracking disruptors too, right?
Right, so, Blackbird, ECMs, we've flown Blackbirds in our Frye fleets before. I don't know if you've seen those, Val, but we would do like a...
I think I have.
We've done them a couple, we haven't done them recently because we're retooling it for bigger stuff, but when there's like that one Orthrus warps in, or that one Barghest warps in at like 400 and is like poking us, me and my Blackbird says, no, you will not. Because you have to hit me, and I'm micro warp driving all over the place. So it's great stuff. It's awesome stuff. Well, Val, this has been really great tips and tricks for the people. I would say the floor is yours, my friend. What do you want to call out? Is there something you want to hype up? Is your Corp recruiting? How do we find your Corp and your people? Tell the people what's up.
Oh, right. So we're the number 1 PvP Corp in it at the moment, right? Aurora. And we just formed a year ago. We left Brave. We were a bunch of people that just enjoy small gang. And then we got a few other people joining us. We've got a couple of guys out in the AT this year on various teams.
Nice.
Right? Barcode, Goons, and I'm so sorry, I forgot the third one. But we've got a couple of guys. I want to wish them all the best. And with the work that we've done, I'm very sure they're among the best already. So just get lucky and win some AT ships for us.
Yeah. How do they find your Corp? Just Aurora in game, or do you guys have like a website?
Oh yeah, you can find us in Aurora in game, and we're just part of Init. So if you go to the initiative is a nullsec alliance. You'll see us there, and if you're unable to join because we have some requirements, we will direct you to the right place to go. So at least you can get your journey started in a way, right? And again, if you really love PvP, I think you have to find, like, doing a solo is fine, it's okay, but it's a lot of pain. Doing it with a small group, it actually makes it so much more enjoyable. Find your community, yeah.
I love that. Yes, I just found in its wiki. I'll link this in the description for y'all so you can see it. I'll also link Aurora's Z-Kill in the description so y'all can see that as well. You can check him out. Val, any last words? This has been really awesome, dude.
No, thank you for having me. And we really enjoy the videos and the type of content that you make out, especially for the new bros. So yeah.
Love it. Val, thanks very much, chat. Join me in saying 07 to one of our Eve's most dangerous, Val Auroris. Thank you very much, Val, for taking the time. I gotta tell you, we got other interviews of these Eve's most dangerous lined up. It's gonna be hard to beat this one. This was a trove of knowledge for the people. This was great. Val, thanks for taking the time. I'm gonna mute, then I'm gonna talk to the chat, and then I'll sync back up with you in just a sec. This video is gonna get shared a ton. Y'all just got like a masterclass. It's going into masterclass playlist probably of how to PvP, how to start PvP. There's so many nuggets of information. This was great. Definitely go check out Val. Definitely go give him an 07. If you see him in game, say, hey Val, please don't kill me, and then you're already dead because he probably will. So if you want more of Eve's Most Dangerous. That's this playlist right here. We talk about fits, tips, tricks, the whole thing you can do to be a better PvPer. Not from my mouth, not from my brain, there it is, but from the people at the top. And if you want the best Eve guides, sub right here. We'll see you in the next video. Thanks very, very much.